Hello everyone and welcome to Jan's Stampin' Cafe. Today I want to show you how to make this fun interactive skating bear card. I think he is just adorable and very engaging for both adults and kids. I'm so excited to be back sharing my love of paper crafting with you. Before we start making this cute card, I want to mention why I've been absent for a while. I hope you'll understand. Our family's been hit hard by COVID. It's been necessary to spend time caring and supporting them. Thank you for your prayers and support. The break was much needed, and I am happy to be back. I have missed you all. My fun interactive skating bear is from the Stampin'UP set Warm and Toasty. Making the bear skate on the ice is really a very simple technique. Just move the stick around and the bear will skate and spin to entertain. The magic is created with two very small magnets. You can duplicate this card using the supplies listed below or choose any critter or image in your stash that you want. I'm going to show you how I made this one. The supplies needed to make this card are Warm and Toasty stamp set from Stampin'UP, Stampin'UP's Feels Like Frost 6x6 double-sided paper. There's a beautiful foil on one side and a photo print on the reverse side. Of course, you can use any paper for a background. Coordinating cardstock for a card base, a craft stick, and foam tape or foam adhesive strips, whichever should be thicker than the craft stick. And lastly, thin magnets that I found on Amazon. And I did a little coloring on the bears and fussy cut them before you joined me. My card base is already cut to size, stamped, and scored. Note how I push the edge of the card against the top ridge of the trimmer, then fold the lower edge up to meet it. Holding it firmly in place, I burnish the fold with my bone folder. The edges are very straight and the corners of the card meet perfectly. Every time. The card base is an A6 size. That is 4 5/8 inches by 6 1/4 inches. I chose this size so I could use the full width of the pretty paper. Your card can be any size that will allow the craft stick room to slide. Now I need to trim the height of the print paper to fit the card size. I laid the bears on the scene to help me choose where to cut. I also want to keep the top of the tree, so I placed the paper on my trimmer with the tree next to the cutting groove. Then cut. From this cut, I can now measure 4 5/8 inches. I turned the paper around and one last check that I like where the bears will fit in the scene, and then I cut. Now I have a pretty paper that is 4 5/8 inches by 6 inches. Next, I need the ice. I'm using a scrap of white cardstock that is larger than what I need. The die attached is from Paper Smooches Speech Bubbles. Paper Smooches is no longer in business, so there's no link below, I'm sorry. I was sad when she closed because I really liked her artwork. You can use an oval or even freehand cut your ice. I just like this shape. The die is 6 inches long, but I left excess just in case it doesn't fit my pretty paper perfectly. Then I'll hand cut it. And it is a little bit short. So I trimmed the top away, leaving the excess again. I tend to be very cautious. I'll trim this in a minute by extending the curve of the die on both ends with my scissors. It'll be a very small amount. Next, I need to adjust the length of the ice to fit in the scene and not exceed the 4 5/8 inches. Remember, I started with extra paper and I'm custom trimming the paper as I go. I want to maintain the scene and I don't want bears skating on trees because I got the paper wrong. Keeping in mind that this layer will be adhered to the card base with a 1/2 inch foam tape, I will adjust the placement and mark with a pencil where the pretty paper edge is. That's where I'll trim. Aligning the lower edges, I can now see the spacing is great. I trim the ice again, but on the sides this time, continuing the curve of the ice. I'm just eyeballing this. Once glued to the pretty paper scene, I'll trim the rest of the ice edges for the last time, then the sides will match. Okay, it's time for foam tape. I place 1/2 inch strips of foam tape on the top, bottom, and one side. The remaining side will be the opening for the craft stick. The craft stick can operate from either side. Decide which side you prefer for your recipient. I use the right side for the stick. At the last minute, I added 2 more short pieces of foam tape to narrow the opening a little. I removed the tape backing and adhered the front layers to the card base, aligning the left side edges. You'll notice the papers are staggered on the right. This little edge will make it easier for me and the recipient to put the stick between the layers without inadvertently tearing the paper. All that is left is to add the bears. I glued the small bear to the card front rather than use dimensionals or foam dots. This bear needs to be flush to the paper so the skating bear won't run into him. I will attach very thin magnets to the large bear and the craft stick. Note my craft stick has been stamped with the word slide. This is very helpful direction for your recipient. My interactive stamp is from either My Favorite Things or Lawn Fawn. I no longer have the packaging and it's a very old set. If I can find where I got them, I'll include a link. If you don't have stamps like this, don't worry about it. They'll figure it out. I used glue dots to adhere the magnets to the stick and bear. I like these magnets because they're very strong for the size and attract no matter which sides touch. There's no plus or minus on them, so just stick them down. I use glue dots as they're just slightly smaller than the magnets and they're a very strong adhesive. I made sure to glue the magnet in the middle of the skating bear. I was afraid that placing the magnet toward the top or the bottom would change the weight distribution and the bear wouldn't spin when you would slide him around. Now slide the stick under the top layer, add the skating bear, and let the magnets create the fun. How cute is this? The spinning is pretty random. Aim the stick to the top and he looks like he's jumping. You can reposition him and start over anywhere on the card. Please notice that I didn't add any sequins or other embellishments as I thought they would obstruct the skating bear. I did add some Wink of Stella to the ice to help it sparkle. I also used a spritz of shimmer paint. This is a fun card. I'm sending this to the grandkids, but I think an adult would get a kick out of it too. It's really a simple layering card and doesn't take long to make. Most of our time today was spent modifying the photo print background image. This will be a super quick card if you use a plainer background. I hope you enjoyed this fun interactive card tutorial. Thank you for watching and sharing your time with me. Please click on my face to subscribe to my channel. This is how I'm encouraged to create more videos. Please check the links below for supplies to recreate this card, and don't forget to visit Jan's Stampin'Cafe Facebook page. I'll be back soon with another tutorial. See you next time.